Welcome back. Gonna finish yesterday's story, or I guess it was yesterday's story, today. We were up on Uncompagre Peak in this beautiful little meadow where Uncle Rob and Lorraine had set up their little cottage. Well, while we were up there, Uncle Claude and I were there too, and we certainly weren't welcome to sleep in the honeymoon cottage. So we had a tent about 20 yards away from the trailer where we lived, and we slept on a couple of old army cots from the Second World War, and some sleeping bags and quilts and stuff that Mom had sent up. And we had a little camp stove out there where we would make a little food once in a while. And the reason we made a little food once in a while was because Rob's new bride was the worst cook on the very planet at the time. I'm sure she got better over time, and in all fairness, she was 17 years old. And I think Uncle Rob was about 37 or 38, something like that. Yeah, 38. Because Lorraine and I were about the same age, and Robert and my mom were about the same age, and almost exactly, both of us. So anyway, Lorraine was the camp cook, if you will. Among her other duties, she was the camp cook. So we got the trailer drug up there and everything was going fine, and we were doing our little sorties during the day to find other areas to stake claims. And one of the things that occurred up in the Lake City area was there were a ton of old gold and silver mines that had played out over the years and were just abandoned, and those were available to stake a claim on because the claims had expired long ago. So one morning we got up, Claude and I were going to go take a very long hike, probably 8-10 miles, to look at several other claims that they knew about. They had some old maps of that area. So we got up bright and early, and we showed up at the honeymoon cottage for breakfast, and Lorraine made eggs for breakfast. And the way she cooked eggs was to put a little lard in the skillet, heat it till it was smoking, and break those dang eggs in there, which just went poof like that and turned into potato chips. I guess that consistency is the best, with a little bit of runny yellow in the middle and a little bit of runny white on the middle too, and the whole edges were just potato chips. Well, anyway, she put those down in front of me and a cup of coffee, and I had the coffee and claimed that I wasn't very hungry. So off Claude and I went on our little excursion. We didn't think to take any food with it, and there wasn't that much anyway. I mean, I guess we could have taken a potato or something. I don't know. But anyway, no candy bars, no cookies, none of that stuff. Those were very luxurious items that we certainly didn't have access to. So off we went, and we found actually a pretty nice looking silver mine about 5 or 6 miles from where we started. And so we had circled around because there was another mine within a mile or so of that Claude wanted to look at. So we looked at that, and by this time it took like in the afternoon, something like that, and I'm 16, just not quite 17, and growing boy, hungrier than hungry. So Claude said, well, I'll kill something on the way home. We'll get a deer or something on the way home and pack it in. Well, it was a pretty steep hill getting to our place where the meadow was up there. And actually the whole trip that we took was all downhill, and certainly then of course all uphill coming back. Well, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going, damn, there's got to be something we can shoot. And Claude laughingly said, well, there's a chipmunk. And I said, if you shoot him, I'll eat him. and he did. He pulled that 30-30 up and shot that chipmunk right out of that tree. And what fell to the ground was 2 hindquarters and a little bit of skin. And a hindquarter on a chipmunk is about that big. And so it's just like 2 little back legs, the butt, and a little bit of fur on it. Well, I washed it off in the creek and took the hide off and stuck a stick through it, started a little fire, and roasted that sucker and ate it. And it wasn't bad, by the way. Anyway, we get through with that, and Claude's laughing at me all the way because I'm being such a big baby about it. So we get back home, and it's after dark by the time we get home. It's probably 6 o'clock, around there, but it's just sneaking up on being good and dark. Not quite dark, but pretty close to dark. And Uncle Rob comes out of that little trailer with a plate with the same eggs that I wouldn't eat for breakfast. Going, here, I thought you might be hungry. You might like these. Oh, well, needless to say, I wasn't hungry enough to eat them that morning, and I sure enough wasn't hungry enough to eat them that night. So Claude and Lorraine made something for supper. I don't know what it was. I probably didn't eat that either. Anyway, we retired to our tent and commenced to cook something else. I have no idea what that might have been. Probably a baked potato or something. And that whole trip up there, Claude and I kept food hidden in our little tent that we didn't share with Rob and Lorraine, because it was the only good food we got to eat, because she was just such a terrible cook. Anyway, I'll end this story right here, and you can stand by for another one, because there's plenty of these around. Anyway, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.